Welcome back to the third match of the week. It's the first match between Random Eggnog, and Skallywags.
Let's go. Big hype, big hype.
Yeah, it should be a, a really exciting game. I mean, looking at the map pool, we start in Busan, go on to New Body. Third map is Dorado. Every map so far, we've seen New Queen Street, and then Nepal.
Uh,
Uh,
I mean, a new map series for sure. A little bit different, but it'll be exciting to see. I mean, every season so far with the map pools and every week it's been different strategies. I think it'll be interesting to see.
yeah, really pumped for it. Alright, going into Team 1, we have Random Eggnog, obviously, Random Eggnog, reigning champs from last season. Not really any change up, but teams are looking extremely balanced so far and really close games. So the hope is that this team is also like that. But obviously this team needs no introduction. You got Tonk on ball. I mean, you got Melee on Widow. You got Kata Bates. You got Evbot on the Mercy. And you got the GOAT, Grumpy Kitten, just keeping this team alive, doing everything that she can. Period. That's it.
Yeah, obviously, eggnog is gonna pop off no matter what. I think it's just how good the competition has gotten for this next season. It'll be definitely interesting to see.
Yeah. Looking at Team 2, the Skallywags. You got very, very new team. Honeycrisp and Sheppy are the two newest players to the league. We don't know a lot about either of them, except Sheppy's probably the greatest bat besides Warrior. You got Armakiri, great Lucio player. You got Gary from the 0-7 Oracles last season, hoping to at least win a game this time. And Zach the Snack, which, I mean, they're wearing pirate hats, which is awesome. Who doesn't love pirate hats?
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously with all the unknown teams, it's so hard to kind of prepare for a game like this. Eggnog, I mean, it could go any way. It could be a super close game, could be a sweep on either side. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and one of the players are not ready, so I mean, it should be very exciting to just see where Eggnog really is this season.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Scallywags is a great roster that I think if any team will beat them, this is gonna be it.
Yeah, I think as good a shot as any. And I mean, this sounds bad, but I would love to see Eggnog just start the season 0-1. Just start it off. Just not quite all the way there.
Oh yeah,
But that's just my personal bias because they did so well last season.
yeah. AFN was the only team to take a map off, and that was twice.
Yep.
But going into it, we are starting on Busan downtown, and yeah, should be exciting. I think we
Alright.
should see some Melly and some Gary Widow right out of the gate, though.
I would say, yeah, probably at least for Melly. I mean, this is such a Widow dominant map as long as they remain uncontested. But I don't know. I think right now it will be interesting because we're going to see a lot of Junker Queen, which is not so great against Widow, especially if the Widow has high ground. But I mean,
Oh, so
there it is. We already know it's going to be the Junker Queen, but Sheppy on Widow here, obviously super dangerous.
I count on you.
yeah, so right away we're actually seeing is Gary get on the support line. That is already a big change from last season, where he didn't touch support at all. But Sheppy's coming out on the Widow, and Melly's gonna try to have to contest that if Kaden can't get up there. But dual Junker Queens. First time we've actually seen a Junker Queen. Sheppy looking for opening pick on Kaden. Ankh is already being pushed back though by Honeycrisp. And Kata Bates is gonna find the first pick on Gary.
That's big.
You're really looking for Sheppy here to find another pick, but Evan gets a pick on Moira.
I
And
think
I
the May pick for Zach is critical here to try to counter Tonk.
And I think Sheppy's already gonna switch. Sheppy already on the Reaper, so they're going a very up-close brawl comp against a comp that wants to play close and fast because they have a Moira.
Yeah, 100%. This will be pretty competitive. I mean, it's almost like a Moira v Kiriko. Who gets the most value with this Junker Queen meta right now?
Yeah, and it's also Lucio over Brig.
Early cleanse, Zac finds Kaden here. Although they trade out DPS, the wall doesn't quite up, but still find Tonk there.
Yeah, and Gear's gonna
looks
find
like
Melly.
a good flip.
And as much as I hate Junker Queen, I mean, this has already been back and forth.
Yeah, it's really who can get the most bleed on Junker Queen, who uses their abilities the most effectively, and
Honeycrisp is already coming up on his ult.
Tonk is close on his though. I wouldn't discount that. One thing I would definitely look at though is Sheppy and Zac can both cleanse the bleed effect, which denies Tonk a lot of value if they don't get that bleed on the DPS.
Yeah, but Big Dragon's coming out, splitting Kaden off from, or splitting Honeycrisp off from the rest of the team. Melly's gonna find 2 with rails.
We're gonna see him die on point as long as we can.
And a hard fought for 42%.
Eggnog just coming up with the picks. Melly going big. Now with ult, so I would expect Melly to get a lot of picks here with with his ult.
Yeah, but 4 ults coming up from the side of, actually 4 ults from Skallywags and 3 coming up from Eggnog.
A little bit
And
more.
Tonk's on a flank. They don't know he's there.
I think Tonk might be too late.
He gets through with it, but B
His
comes
ult
out.
is cleansed immediately. Beat as well. Trading support ults now. Grumpy Kitten falls.
And it looks like the flank on the Scallywags was just kind of a throw.
I think it certainly was, especially because they popped the Curie ult, giving so much speed early.
Yeah. It just wasn't worth it in the end, because they had beat for his ult. And Tonk's already switching off the JQ.
Very smart. I always pick Zarya. I'm not a Junker Queen main. I'm pretty old school, so I always go Zarya into a Junker Queen.
Zarya is the bread and butter.
Yep. Can't really go wrong, although you do have to watch for the Maywalls here.
Yeah, actually, a big Death Blossom coming out from Sheppy.
Sheppy gets 3, and that speed boost by Armakiri. Definitely really good coordination here. Grumpkin with the big stagger. It looks like they're going to have one team fight left here for this point.
Kaden switches onto the Echo, and Evan's back on the Mercies.
And let's see, they don't have any cleanse. They just have bubbles to get rid of this ult by Honeycrisp. So it'll be tough to get through that.
Yeah.
See what happens here. So one bubble there. I was expect to see a second bubble, and then I see an ult. Yep, Honeycrisp going in, getting
and it's
big
a massive
value.
It's gonna find both Kaden and Evbot.
That's big. I definitely would have immediately swapped Kiriko if you're running that Zarya. But hey, good round, very good round.
Yeah, and Eggnog already dropped Eggnog? Eggnog already dropped a map.
Yep, that's huge.
And I mean, this Sheppy on DPS has been big for them. Gary's a pretty dang good support, so he's not Sheppy level. He's not going to fill those shoes, but he doesn't need to when Sheppy's just putting so much damage out. And so much just, I don't know what the word is. I was going to say raw disruption, but nah, it might be good enough.
Yeah, we'll run with it. We'll run with it.
His raw disruption is just absolutely annihilating the front line, and Tonk's back on the ball.
Yeah, they're committing to it's a pseudo dive because Melly's very self-sufficient, just looking for picks, being a big distraction, while Tonk can kind of go in with Kaden, of course, try to get value here.
Well, and I like that you point out Kaden, because that's the real question here. How much value is he going to get on the Genji?
Yeah, it's we need picks from Melly here. See what he can do. Tonk falls, and since Junker Queen's up, I think Skallywags are going to end up taking point here unless Melly come with a couple big picks.
Yeah, and I mean, Kaden gets the reflection shot onto Sheppy, but it's not going to be enough to win the point.
Sojourn en route.
But coming into this next fight, Melee switches off the Widow already onto the Sojourn, and that's gonna give Evan something to pocket.
Yeah, I think we've seen Melee Sojourn go so crazy and already getting huge value. Zach had his abilities up, but got bursted down so quick.
Yeah, and Honeycrisp was just trying to find the pick on Evan here. I think he's actually gonna get it. Hunter's forced to back out, but Melee is. Well,
Melee
I don't
just
think he's gonna get the
barrel stuffing him. That was, you see Melee just in their face, can't do anything about it, and that'll flip the point for now. 43, 44, 44% by Skallywags here. Not a bad first take.
The Jinker Queen by itself was already giving Tonk enough problems, but now that Sheppy's on Sombra, I don't know if Tonk's gonna get any value from this. I mean, who's he gonna go after?
If I'm Tonk, I'd be very careful.
You can't really kill anyone on their team if you're Ball. He does find the translocator, but I don't know if that's gonna be enough. Honeycrisp gets a pretty decent sized rampage.
Yeah, and Melee falls first, followed by F-Bot. I would imagine Skallywags are able to capitalize big on that.
Tonk rolling out, but they
Skallywags flip point. I think they might stagger unless Kaden can pull out a big blade here. No, but he speeds away.
Hunter booped away the Lucio.
Oh
he gets the beat off because of that. What a misplay.
Oh, wow.
Just a lack of communication there from Eggnog. Evelyn's gonna go in and get the res on Tonk.
That's a big res. A lot of health coming back on the side of Eggnog here.
Well, Andy has Minefield.
Freeze on point. Only finding one, but
big
Grumpy
EMP
gets out of it.
I think they're gonna find the kill on Hunter or Grumpy get.
Yep, Zach needs to fall now. No abilities, and there it is. Very scrappy here on point. Evan's still alive though. Keep the Tonk up. That's definitely a mistake letting Tonk live and Evan here. Although another rampage, denying all that healing. Kaden should fall here, and he does.
I mean, Honeycrisp just kind of lived here. He
Yeah.
set up shop.
Tonk just couldn't do enough to get the point, and there it is.
What a dominant performance early from Skallywags. I mean,
wow, that was pretty good to see.
that was incredible. I mean, we haven't seen that kind of just pushback from a team against Eggnog before.
Yeah, it seemed almost like Eggnog wasn't able to flex out of what they're used to.
No, they seem very one-dimensional here, but going into map 2, we'll be right back. And we are back going into... Oh, never mind. I guess we'll be back again. Alright, now we're back. Oh, I had it right the first time. Alright, Skallywags up 1-0 against the reigning champs Eggnog.
Yeah, definitely a pretty big underdog upset so far. I'm excited to see. I mean, is Eggnog going to be able to flex to kind of counter? I mean, it's weird because I don't know. Skallywags didn't really have to change much.
No, they rolled out on the JQ and just kind of sat there.
Yeah, they really didn't change anything, which obviously gave them a little bit of ult economy advantage, of course, but it seemed that they just kind of outskilled on that last map, so we'll see what Eggnog does to kind of counter that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, looking at the rest of it, Eggnog in the past has always struggled with flexibility.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you get them off their comfort picks, like Ball, they don't do as much. Now,
yeah,
hopefully,
I totally agree.
Hopefully they bring it back, because I want this to be close. I don't want the first match I cast to be just a 3-0 again, because that's all the odds are. But very basic comp, what we're used to coming out of Eggnog. No Brig, but Kata Bates found a quick pick on Sheppy.
Sheppy managed to stand right in that Hanzo corridor. I aim in that exact same spot when I play Nuvani here.
Hanzo moment. All it is.
Yep.
Beat up already falling low though. And Kaden gets the pick on Arm here.
Eggnog just getting positioning here to get big damage out.
Yeah,
of course,
so...
getting that first pick really helped, but they were able to rotate super quick, and I'm not sure Skallywags was ready for that.
I don't think I was either. I mean, just so much raw damage coming out already. You look at ult economy just across the board, and I mean, although Tonk doesn't have as much as Honeycrisp, Caden's leading the charge at 51%. And Tonk actually switches off the ball already and goes Ramatra.
I think that's pretty key here in the Streets phase, because we saw the Sombra pick immediately to counter balls, so being able to swap on a Ramatra. I agree, but I'm a Zarya player, so.
I am too. It's Zarya bias.
Hayden finds Arma here. Still very scrappy on point. Dragon coming out. Good zoning ult, trying to split up the team. Honeycrisp falls, and I would imagine very quickly the rest of the team does.
Yeah, Tonk just kind of walked up on them through the dragons.
Yeah, the support keeping him alive though was super big.
Let's see if
there were a couple walls from Zach there, but they were able to heal right through it, so that's big.
Yeah, and I mean, if Skallywags can't adapt here like Eggnog couldn't last round, they might be in a big heap of trouble because they're just a one-dimensional team that can only play junker teams. When she gets nerfed in the upcoming patch, I don't know if they're gonna do too hot.
We saw that early cleanse, and then the ult right after. EMP in the back as well, Ebba falls, so that'll be a pretty solid stop.
Grumpy Kitten gonna be able to TP out. Gets the Mega, had 1 health, but ultimately just ends up staggering. But looking at the ult board, they got Ramatra time, and they got Mercy Valk, so...
I would 100% expect to see the Mei ult to counter Ramatra here. We'll see what happens.
They just either have to Mei or beat, but they have both counters available, and I don't know if Tonk's going to be ready for it.
Yeah, I think both will work just as well.
Well, Tonk gets hacked early, and he's actually just gonna get forced his big mode.
Melly finds Sheppy, so that's one up. We see Valk coming out. And then, of course, Ramatra ult. We'll see if they commit. They might not. They don't commit either ult. Although
no,
Gary
fact,
does ult Koa here.
Yeah, they commit the funny third ult from Koa.
Neither one we really expected, to be honest.
It's not the one we thought we knew, but it's the one we needed.
And even though Melly got an opening pick, it was for nothing.
And Caden
they did not get any card progress there.
Debate switches onto the Cassidy.
Yeah, I guess they feel like they need just more raw damage.
Which, I mean, I'd agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, definitely not incorrect. Grumpy Kitten finding Sheppy. Sheppy the first to die again. Yeah, so we see Rush coming out, trying to force him back.
And I think it's gonna do just that, finding two picks early.
They get value.
Chris can't solo that unless he really wants to. But Zach's kind of caught out in no man's land.
And yep, they capped her.
Oh, I captured a screenshot on accident. Okay.
Outstanding. And Grumpy Kitten just dueling the backline, as I know Grumpy Kitten. Having Grumpy Kitten on my team, Hunter just going crazy, gonna cleanse himself, TP out, of course, unpunished.
We didn't see that. Nothing happened there. But Coalescence coming out again from Gary, and Caden's gonna find Honeycrisp with the ult. The noon.
See the freeze coming in. Freeze is actually big, gets 3.
Yeah, and I mean...
And they should be able to clean up here. Yep, just Caden left on point. Very good counter freeze, and they're gonna hold it for now.
Gary switches off the motor back onto the Kiri. And I mean, the only ult for both teams is gonna be their main support ults. They're gonna have Valk and they're gonna have Beat. It's just who can find more value out of it.
Yeah, I would expect them to hold Beat until Eggnog comes up with a pretty big offensive ult.
Well, Ramatra time is coming up. Eggnog tries to take high ground but gets forced out by B-Dub right away.
We see Valk coming early. And they beat before the ult. I wonder if Tonk knows he's going to get a free ult unless Tonk falls here early. He needs help though.
I don't know if
they
he's
missed
gonna get
the wall. So there's just a soft group up for now.
I know I definitely would have committed Ramatra time there, but I'm also overly aggressive and bad at the game.
Melly needs to get res here. Nope, but Sheppy finds Caden. They can't push in. Now it's just a stagger. They can W key in, and Arma's doing just that.
Honeycrisp really like solidified himself in this fight. Although they bent, they didn't break. I guess that's what it is. Because although Tonk and just the rest of Eggnog kind of collapsed in on them, they weren't able to hold that ground. Although 4 ults coming up from the side of Eggnog with 4 to retaliate. And funnily enough, both main support ults will be missing. Gary's gonna find Get Abates early.
See Noon to counter the rush there. Finds Grumpy Kitten, that's huge. They have no cleanse. We could see Queen ult here coming in very quickly. Counter rush. Although Eggnog just popping all of their ults at once, so I'd expect them to win the fight.
You'd expect that, but Sheppy is still alive with Zach. And they're gonna find each other. It's just the Ev-bot.
Just the trays, 2 supports from Eggnog, but that's about it.
He's gonna get res, but TP is forced out right away from Grumpy.
It looks like Eggnog's the team that's back first. Zarya coming back out to counter the Junker Queen.
And this is something we've been wanting the whole match.
We see the freeze coming in. Gets no one. Ev-bot gets caught out though.
Sheppy just hit him mid-air.
Caden trying to get cart progress. Managed to get a flank, but it wasn't quick enough to help his team.
And Tonk's just gonna kind of wander in.
He's the only touch they have, so
I know.
That's
and
it.
He kind
Tonk
of
falls, and that'll be the first
He
point.
just got jumped. Like, that was not okay. I almost feel bad for him.
Yeah, that.
Almost, but they won the league last season.
We
so.
see that Mei Junker Queen coming in big. I know for myself, I always play Mei against Junker Queen, but even against the rest of the tanks, it's big. Mei's always a strong pick, especially you get those alt fires in. Found a couple picks that game.
Yeah, if you know how to get value on Mei, she's just such an impactful character.
Yeah, and feels so oppressive.
It's like her and Sombra. You're either a really good Sombra, or you're awful and you should never touch her.
Well, I think there is an in-between, because I'm not a good Sombra, but I know when to swap Sombra just to mess with Ball. Like, that's it. And then force the swap.
There's always a funny in-between, but that funny in-between just, like, doesn't hit some people.
Yeah, that's my only play, and I mean, I'm a super effective Sombra against, well, I guess Doomfist too. Doomfist is kind of out of the meta though. I think all the Doom players just went Junker Queen because of how good she is, and her kind of play style is unusual.
Well, we got Sage still. I mean, we love Sage.
But I think Sage even understands that Junker Queen is probably a little bit better right now.
He did play some Junker Queen today.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, Sage being the Doomfist connoisseur for the league.
He's holding it down so the rest of us don't have to touch it.
True.
Going in, absolutely nothing really big coming from Skallywags, just Reaper instead of Mei. And entire switch up just the same tank and support line from Eggnog. And they're forced off high ground right away.
Yeah, 100 Chris just doing so much damage. Gets that bleed going, heals himself and doing damage at the same time.
And Melly's not able to find the pick on Sheppy.
Wow, and just as easily as Eggnog took first point, Skallywags are going to do the same.
Understood.
I mean, what a masterclass on how to take first point.
That was incredibly dominant.
And we're seeing more flexibility come out from Tonk, more Ryan, but
interesting.
Can he back it up?
Yeah, well, Tonk immediately finds Honeycrisp. I was about to say that typically you do not want to play Ryan into Junker Queen. However, worked out okay there. Probably just caught him off guard.
There's something so special about Ryan into Junker Queen where it just depends on the queen.
100%, and Honeycrisp already getting that big damage on the tongue.
Well, and then Melly gets to pick on Zach.
It's huge, yeah. 5v4 just enables Tonk here. He charges in, finds Sheppy, which is big. They're going to be able to sustain on this corner for a while. Staggering out picks. Scary finding Grumpy Kitten, though. Kind of a long walk.
Yeah, I mean, even with the TP.
Yeah, I would expect them all to back up, because as soon as one gets picked, you kind of just got to give space. Or die on cart.
Speaking of giving space, Bob goes in, Kata finds the headshot.
Tonk with the big pin, wow! They're holding on this corner.
Shatters it.
They commit a lot of ults.
As much as Eggnog's winning this fight, they invested so much more. They used everything
we'll see if it pays off for him.
Grumpy Kitten on Donna.
That'll be critical for the antis. I think that was the play they wanted. They wanted to swap Ryan on it. Obviously the Ryan swap happened first because of Fury ult, but
well, I think we're almost going to see Grumpy just become a nanobot.
Yeah, I would expect nothing less with the amount of damage that Tonk can take.
Yeah, and she's pretty good at it too. But I mean, if Tonk can't contain the Honeycrisp, aren't we all screwed?
100%. And it looks like they're going to cap for free. They don't have any touches available. Although ult was committed, far too late though.
Yeah, 5 minutes and 55 meters stands between the 4th map loss of Revenge of Eggnog ever.
Zach just getting hyper aggressive.
And Zach earned it. He got the pick on Melly.
Yep. Oh my goodness. He knew he had ult and he just W keyed in. I think the sacrifice was worth it. The amount of space that they're getting now, they should be able to push it all the way in. I'm not sure they have a touch.
I don't think they do. They're easily going to get to at least 50 here.
They're taking apart every single stagger that's coming out right now. Absolutely spawn camping. And that's it.
Reign of Eggnog losing a second map already.
Skallywags going absolutely crazy. Just barrel stuffing. I guess that's the power of Junker Queen.
They're looking just so untouchable on this Junker Queen comp.
This should be the 3K, 4K on May actually, I guess. That huge freeze.
And I mean, Zach just being such a pivotal part of this team. Just the May and Reaper have been so impactful this entire game.
Yeah, playing that super Brawl comp, I mean, it's a lot tougher to play against Brawl now because in Overwatch 1 you just go double shield against Brawl, but now it's not quite so easy. There's no win button against Brawl.
No, hopefully we'll see Eggnog with an answer going into map 3. And we are back for potentially the final map. And I mean, if you said this map was going to end in 3, you'd probably take Eggnog as your favorite, but going into it, they're not looking too hot.
Yeah, they most certainly are not. I mean, obviously the favorites going into this. I'm not really a, well, maybe I am a betting man. I haven't really gotten into it because, you know, whatever.
Gambling addiction runs
But
in the family. I get it.
I definitely would have had my money on Eggnog. But Skallywags just looking so good on this Brawl here.
Yeah, and Gary and Sheppy switching roles. We're gonna see that pseudo top 500 BAP.
Yeah, BAP's definitely in an interesting spot. Still very good for those players who know how to play him. I just don't think he's as meta with Junker Queen. So it'll be interesting to see somewhat of the some of the interactions that go on this match.
Yeah.
Typically, though, I mean, this map is always a dive map. I see monkey v monkey all the time, and it's the better monkey wins. But
well, actually, we're seeing Zach and Gary on Funny Heroes, and Caden hasn't played a Funny Hero today.
that's true. I would have expected a little bit of Junkrat, but obviously they're looking to teleport high ground immediately, get that space, and there it is. A TP. Grumpy Kid Falls has to go in. Oh, just aggressive off the rip. That's critical. Tonk making the jump.
But Honeycrisp is showing he's the better tank.
Yeah, I think just kind of ignoring Tonk when he was W keying in, that was pretty critical for them. Caden onto the fair immediately. Didn't like what he saw there.
What a pull into Gary, though.
Gary falls, but he gets his turret up. Best player in the lobby, so...
Turret goes down, but I mean, so much space was allotted to Eggnog. Actually, I don't know if Tonk's gonna make it out of that.
Tonk does with the cleanse. We see Caden here with no mercy pocket. I would expect Evan to swap as soon as he dies, but he's 50 to beat, so that could be big.
Well, good news is Caden's on a Funny Hero. It's winnable.
Although Zach is just wrecking havoc, just jumping on top of their heads. Melly with the big wall early. Trading picks right now, although Skallywags is falling one by one.
And Skallywags is gonna get taken down, but not before taking a few heads of their own.
Yeah, no kidding. We'll see. I mean, Gary obviously could contest here. We'll see if he does. And just in time, 30.35 meters.
It doesn't matter though.
And doesn't matter. They stalled for a couple seconds. Arma needs to die here. He does. Very convincing first point take. 4 minutes 40 seconds on the clock. Looking at TP in early, and they get the stagger pick. Absolutely huge. So they are solidly on the high ground. I would expect to see, I mean, halfway in the street space, pushing almost all the way.
And Skallywags, I mean, they've just looked dominant this entire series so far. Hopefully they do have a soft spot. And maybe that is just long... No, I don't even know if it's long-range maps like this. Because Caden's playing far out. Melly's on Sim.
And that's where BAP comes in handy with that lamp. Getting big value to counter the ult.
Zach's actually, like, pegging Caden with these, Holy crap. Okay, I was gonna say Zach's pegging Caden with these, mines, but the Tonk knife onto Zach got the rip tire canceled.
This is absolutely dominant right now. They're just ruining every ult that they have. I mean, they got 2 support ults coming up and a tank ult just about here, but Eggnog has just been so dominant. Early wall and early rampage as well. Zach looking to contest it. He does. Beat coming in. Lamp on point falls. We see window and rampage on the flip side here. 0.39 meters away. Tonk kind of caught out in the back.
And
they managed to hold it.
I like the aggression from Eggnog, but I think they got overzealous there.
Maybe, but I think that was the only way to play it for them. If I'm being honest, they had to cap point there. Otherwise, it's going to be. I mean, they got just about 3 minutes, but it's a lot tougher to set up and win this point. But of course, Symmetra will just go high ground. There it is. Cleanse early.
Tonk gets booped off right away though. Zach's gonna meet him in the lobby downstairs.
Arma falls.
I think Zach gets picked here.
Skallywags down 2, but Honeycrisp, of course, doing work. It's a 4v3. Sheppy on the high ground though, uncontested right now.
Yeah, and Zach and Arma are gonna make it back faster than the staggers from Eggnog. And Tonk's gonna get picked. Caden doesn't find the pick on Gary though.
Eggnog just needed to do a lot of damage there, but Sheppy was just out healing all of it.
And I mean, just a massive increase of Gary from this season to last season, where he was somewhat of a performer on Oracles. Obviously, not a big amount of impact, but that was also just Oracles in general. This season, he's coming out with a bang. He's been a very impactful player all through maps so far.
And that is a huge rampage gets just about the entire team. No cleanse coming out.
Thrown off the high ground.
Gary High Noon in the back finds Evan. And Eggnog is down 2 once again. It'll be another quick cleanup. And ticking down, minute 20. Yeah, I mean, I kind of had the feeling, and I know Eggnog felt it too. They needed to cap there. That's why they committed so much. But now it's biting them in the ass. They don't really have enough. Just about a minute left. We'll see if they can cap second here.
Well, Melee switches on to the Widow, hoping to find some picks.
It's probably about the only thing I think if Melee picks Sheppy here somehow.
Either him or Gary.
Rampage coming out from Tonk. Trading ults here.
But, I mean...
Eggnog
kind of
finally coming up with what they need.
Although Melee gets picked, I mean, it didn't really matter. The rest of the team just kind of swallowed up the rest of Skallywags.
Yeah, Eggnog finally being able to group up and get the value they need.
Big knife onto Evan, gonna find him early.
Yeah, so Eggnog's down 3 for this push. We'll see how they sustain.
Make it 4, make it 5.
I mean, they got cart through the doors, so that's pretty critical.
That's the biggest thing here, but are they going to be able to push back to it? They haven't been able to really do a strong push into them, into Skallywags. Melee's on the cast now.
Yeah, they're just looking for more damage here against Skallywags.
Only the support ults from Eggnog, but everything is on the board for Skallywags.
See a Rampage, trading ults left and right.
Big beat comes out. Blizzard's not going to find anyone though.
High Noon in the back, finds Evan. 1 minute left on the clock. Zach falling though. And 100% finding Melee, so Eggnog having the advantage here, it would appear, but Caden falls. Eggnog's got it back up.
And Tonk's just getting thrown around like a girl on prom night.
Skallywags with a strong hold.
Caden's had enough of the Reaper, goes to the Hanzo. But I don't know if Eggnog are going to have the willpower to make it through this.
Coming up on 2 ults here, the High Noon and the Rampage, but I mean, Skallywags are just playing so spread. We'll see what kind of value they can get from Rampage. Hayden finding Sheppy, that's a critical pick. They should be able to push in here. Immediately controlling the high ground. And Gary getting pulled in by the knife. And Tonk with the Rampage, probably going to find 3 here. It's huge.
I think they're going to do it. They're at least
going big. It's
an
overtime. Tonk looking for maybe an early pick. Of course, Skallywags do have contest 2 ults with another one coming in the form of Rampage.
And Sheppy's going to get pulled in front of his window, but...
Melee looking for a huge High Noon here and falls. Sheppy picks him off. Sheppy with 3. Caden the last one alive for Eggnog, and it's not enough.
But I mean, for how much they were getting stalled out, 81 meters on third point is pretty good.
Yeah, pulling it just about to the end. So it's, I mean, essentially Skallywags got to push it to the end. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, no extra rounds in this one. But I mean, Eggnog trying to bend and not break, but they aren't doing it like they were last season. That's probably because the rest of the league has just caught so far up to them.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see. I think what's going on is Skallywags just are not having to swap. They don't feel like they need to swap up anything.
No, and the damage is coming out, but they aren't finding the picks that they need.
Oh, here we go. 5-man dive here. Coming out of Skallywags. It's unusual that Lucio obviously could be traded out for Ana. in a dive comp, but they chose 5-man. I guess probably to counter the brawl.
Why?
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out for him. Although Tonk on Orisa, very, very solid tank lineup.
and we're gonna see a Zen, we're gonna see an Ana, and we're gonna see an Orisa. I think
Yes,
those are gonna be the 3 defining factors here. Between that and the Pharah. Sure, Ash will probably get picked here and there, but I think that's not going to be the most impactful spot on this team.
Yeah, I don't think dive is gonna work into this team right now.
Not at all. Because who do you dive? It's just Melly. Or I guess Evan. And Ana. Oh.
Yeah, they have good dive targets, but we need an emergency pause here.
Well, I guess we can talk about how we don't think this dive is going to work.
Yeah, the Discord, the Sleep, the Coach Gun, and the Pharah all spamming at Honeycrisp as he tries to dive in is going to be crazy. They need Zach. If Zach or Gary puts a lot of pressure on the backline, then Honeycrisp can in, but Honeycrisp is not going to be able to do the tank thing. He's just another DPS, has to wait for space to open up before it can go in, and Gary or Zach has to be the ones to put pressure on that backline before Honey can go in.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm if it does pan out and we're just giving a crap for no reason, I do think Evan's going to be the easiest person to get rid of. Just lack of mobility, easiest to get on top of. If Grumpy Kitten doesn't hit the impactful nades and sleeps, it might be over for them.
Yeah, I definitely think Grumpy Kitten's well practiced enough to keep Evan alive, and as long as he can keep Evan alive, that's really, I mean, that's the counter dive in a nutshell there.
100%.
So Honeycrisp going in, looking to commit. Gary and Zach there. I mean, Honeycrisp getting burned a little bit, but they're sustaining pretty well.
They didn't even need to dive off the bridge.
Zach falls first here. And probably not enough pressure from that dive. Kaden finding Sheppy. Taking apart this dive a little bit. They did get really good car progress and it's already past the bridge, but we're going to see a full group here. See if they can't get another team fight in.
Yeah, and Eggnog held pretty good. It was the thing where we said the dive wasn't going to work into such a weird team. It didn't work.
There's their rotation, though, definitely won them that. Being able to pull back just enough to get Zach to overextend and they could find that pick. And then, obviously, regain control of that high ground. That was critical for them.
Yeah, and then Honeycrisp back on the Junker thing. Lamp already forced out.
They had a lot of damage coming out, especially with that anti. I would expect Grumpy Kitten to get huge antis. Hayden finding one, but gets it reflected back into his face.
That's
Gary
so
pushing cart all the while. Tonk nanoed. Gary finding one on cart, and it looks like the rest of Skallywags coming in to help. They just decided to ignore Tonk. Felt he couldn't do enough. Tonk with ult here. Decides to pop it, gets nobody. And then dies.
That was a very emotional, I don't remember what her ult's called. I don't know the abilities in this game. But very emotional ult there, and we've all been there. It's just, you want to win that, you got to win that there, and if you don't, you lose point.
4 minutes on the clock here to push it in the streets phase. We'll see if they can control the high ground. Kaden on the Pharah makes it very difficult for Skallywags to push in and control that high ground. We see Bob committed early. Pretty good positioning. I don't know if I could have asked for better positioning, and of course, Eggnog being able to clean up this fight really quick. Yeah, that Bob was critical. I think it might have gotten booped a little bit, but kind of got put in the exact spot that Eggnog needed there.
Yeah, just left side of that cart, and you can't do a lot about that because that's one of your better spots to poke from. And very Widowmaker though.
This could be big. Obviously, Kaden being a thorn in the side enough to cause that Widowmaker squab. No mercy on Eggnog. Melly finding Gary.
Melly's really had enough of his crap today.
Honeycrisp getting with the solo rampage. Doesn't find anyone. see window as well.
I don't know if they're gonna be able to find the pick on Zach though. He was low, but he gets killed up.
Yeah, that was some crazy peel there. Eggnog definitely in control here, but
Big javelin.
Gary finding Melly first pick. There's no mercy here to res. Gary could look for another, looking for Grumpy in the back. Doesn't quite pick it up. Zach finding one, should find another. And Kaden ults, but wow, they
Nano
actually used
and
Nano.
Barrage were committed.
Yeah, and all for nothing. Taunt coming up on a big ult here. Pull him off point and hopefully get the point, but we see easy counter and beat here.
Evans
Melly with or Gary with sights rather. We see the Melly swap to Widow to counter it. Obviously Melly a very deadly Widow, so Tonk is going to need to contest here.
He should have sustained with an Ana Moira pocket, but
Tonk feeling very alone right now. Kind of wondering where the team is. Eggnog finding two, but not in time to contest point. They definitely have to back up here, even though it's 4v3.
I don't know if Eggnog are gonna be able to stall this out for the next 3 minutes.
It'll be tough for sure.
Oh shoot! Evans on the Ana and Grumpy Kitten's on the Moira.
What a switch up.
This wasn't like that a minute ago, right?
No, definitely not. Melly needs to get a lot of value here. It's their only ult coming up. But it looks like everyone on the side of Eggnog is falling to the Rampage. Rampage just gets so much, and we'll see if they can contest. Looks like Skallywags might just
They don't touch.
They
Holy
don't.
crap, they don't touch.
And there it is. Skallywags.
I mean, Eggnog couldn't hold anything together there. I'm honestly just in awe. Like, above everything else, that's kind of just it. Because Eggnog was the team to beat last season. No one beat them, but going into the first game of season 3, the very first match, they lose. I mean, I think, yeah, part of it just has to be the Junker Queen. They just couldn't outplay the Junker Queen.
Yeah, I think Skallywags just knew what composition they wanted to run, what characters they're good on, and man, they just kind of W-keyed. I mean, really, Eggnog's comfort picks were not counters to Junker Queen at all. Their comfort picks were very much what they had last season, but we see kind of the shift there. They had to counter Junker Queen, but they didn't have kind of the play style to do that.
Yeah, and kind of unfortunate, but
hello?
It happens. We are joined by Beat-Up, though, for our post-match interview.
Hello, I'm here. What's up?
You know, big game from you. Obviously, beating undefeated Eggnog. That's just such a massive feat to have.
Yeah.
Going from the 0-5 Goons to
0-5, bro. I remember us being like 0-13. That's what I remember.
That was the longest.
We didn't win a single map, a single round. We didn't win anything.
Man, and how does that feel? Just coming back and absolutely dominating.
Coming in last season, I played on the Jamlets with my buddies, and we had a good time, And then this season, I'm on with my buddies again with the Skallywags, right? It seems like it isn't the season for Eggnog. It's not Christmas, right? I don't know why they're trying to bring that here. It's looking like it might be a reign of the Skallywags. I mean, we'll just see what happens, man. Defeat the undefeated team. That's a big deal.
I'm here for the Beat-Up villain arc.
Hey, someone's got to fulfill the role.
Yeah, it looked like you guys were pretty comfortable on that brawl comp behind the Junker Queen. It feels like Eggnog really had to swap to try to counter you guys instead of the other way around. Did that play a part in how you guys played the game?
Yeah, so as many of you probably know, I one-trick Lucio, right? And then with the Junker Queen buffs, like, they work so well together. we just pick the Junker Queen and the Lucio and just brawl it out, and Eggnog, they tried like countering Gary on Widow by picking their own Widow and Hanzo, and sometimes they'd get some shots, sometimes we'd get some shots, go back and forth. But the Lucio, the speed, and then the Junker Queen shout, they just can't get away. May slowing them. We got all kinds of things that we can bust out.
Yeah, and we were actually curious about your guys' flexibility because all you played was that Junker Queen comp.
We overall, I would say, are pretty flexible, like in who's playing what roles, how many characters they can play. We had Gary and Sheppy swap for game 3, I believe, and Sheppy, they know that I play Lucio, and so we play around that, playing the BAP, playing different kinds of comps, going the Kiriko on the dive so that we can have someone on cart at all times. Yeah, I'd say we're pretty flexible overall. The Junker Queen just worked, so why change it,
I mean, yeah, honestly, that's kind of the truth to that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, and it worked, Some eggs were broken today, unfortunately. They might have some fixing to do, but it was actually a really good game. I enjoyed it a lot. Smack talk aside, that was really awesome.
Well, it was really fun to cast and watch. I mean, but looking at the rest of the season, next week I believe you play. Hold on, I had it in my head a second ago.
Man, I don't even need to know who it is. We're just gonna come in, 3-0 him, and get out, just like this week.
Oh.
Okay, well next week you play Stick. So
listen, end of the season we're gonna be like 25-0 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean you haven't played Myzari yet, so we'll see
all the names
happens.
They're all the same. Eggnog, Oracles, whoever, right? Air Force. It doesn't matter. The names are the same. The only thing that changes are the names. The outcome's going to be the same.
I dig the talk, man.
I'm telling you,
so far you guys have walked the walk.
Coming.
I am so down for this. All right. Anything you think that Eggnog did particularly well?
I think having us test our flexibility by them picking like Echo and Ash and Flora is like we would be on like Junkrat Torb, and then they'd play anything other than that. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get
that. I think that's a good thing to do. Challenge your opponents, see if they can respond to what you're trying to bring up.
Well, hopefully you can keep this head of steam, because it's fun to have a different team on top of the league every season. But great games today. Really excited that you were the first team to beat Eggnog. Kind of hoping it was me, but we'll deal with that later.
From Goons, from going to 0-13 to beating Eggnog. What a story.
Let's go, yeah.
You gotta
big
have a
momentum
on you now.
to start the season. Big momentum. So I personally hope you guys can keep it up.
Hey, tune in next week. That's all I'm saying.
All we can ask for. Well, thanks for tuning in. Great match today. We'll
thanks for having
later.
me.
Our next match is tomorrow at where is that tab? Tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. EST. Kind of a late game, but should be a banger.
Hey, well, good luck to both the teams. I hope they enjoy it and prepare properly.
Thanks, B-Dub.
All right, good night, y'all.
All right, and that's all we have. It's fun casting with you, Stick. We'll see you in the game tomorrow.
Yeah, GG's.
Yep. Have a good night.